We have to stop calling ourselves people of color. They're using that against us. By calling ourselves people of color and we stop using black, we're helping to extinguish our voice in the public conversation because nobody's hearing black no more. Nobody's hearing American or African no more. Most black people, when they describe themselves, what do they say? I'm a person of color, people of color. By doing this, you're lumping yourselves up with the Latinos, the Arabs, the East Indians, the Native Americans, the homosexuals, the women. Here's the problem with that. Once they get us calling ourselves people of color, which they've already have, let's say 2 years, right? For 2 years, most black people have stopped identifying as black. They now say people of color. They're going to get to a point where you're completely identified with all these other non-white people who can't stand you any more than the Caucasian. And then you know what they're going to do? They're going to flip all these other people of color against your interests. Let me give you an example of how they're doing it right now. Mm-hmm. There's surveys being carried out across America where they're asking other people of color, reds, yellows, browns, poor whites, what do you think about reparations to black people? This is what they're doing right now. It's happening now. And guess what the Asians are saying? I don't think they need reparations. America isn't racist. What do you think the East Indians are saying? I don't think they need reparations. America isn't racist. What do you think the Native Americans and the European Jews are saying? I don't think they need reparations. America isn't racist. So the same people you identify with as people of color, when questions come up about your issues and your agenda, they can cancel it. Why? Because all the other people of color who you now identify with have taken a vote and said, y'all don't need reparations. Let me give you another example. Let's say you have a child, your son, we got black boys in public schools in Nashville. They're catching all kind of hell, special ed hell, ADHD hell, psychiatric med hell, right? You say this school is racist. It's you and 5 other black mothers. This school is racist. You black father, black. This school is racist. Guess what they're going to do? They're going to have a meeting of parents of color. Look at this now. It's a black issue, but you don't call yourself black no more. You've identified with your enemies of other color. They're going to call people of color and they're going to talk to all the people of color. And they're going to say, do y'all think we are targeting the boys of color? You're not targeting the Arabs. You're not targeting the Latinos. You're not targeting the East Indians. You're targeting black. But because we handcuffed ourselves into this new identity of people of color, whenever they want to suffocate the black voice, all they got to do is ask the other people of color, what do you think about it? And we're done. Stop calling yourself a person of color. Be black. We better stop and change that public narrative back, especially now with the migrant crisis. They're going to suffocate the hell out the black agenda.
And we saw such a passionate and compassionate and empathetic, like, race of people that shoe on the other foot. I'm like, hell yeah, give them reparations.
Yep.
Hell yeah, give them like whatever it is.
Yep.
Like
nobody speaks for us. We keep saying black and brown. Mm-hmm. When have you heard brown people speak about blacks? They don't.
No, they don't.
They don't. Black and brown. Every black. Why you can't just say black? Because we have been bullied into feeling uncomfortable, only articulating our own issues. Black people are the only people who don't feel comfortable just fighting for black issues. Jews only fight for Jews. Latinos only fight for Latinos. Arabs only fight for Arabs. Mexicans only fight for Mexicans. Black people fight for everybody. And here's the Achilles heel of that mindset. If you're going to make everybody else's issue as important as your own, why should we care about your issue? By bringing them in, you automatically demote the seriousness of your issues. Multiculturalism was a trap the whole time. And one of the reasons I say multiculturalism was a trap the whole time, did you know Mexicans were once legally considered white in this country? Did you know East Indians were once legally considered white in this country? Did you know the Japanese sued in court to be white in this country, but they lost? Did you know Arabs are considered white right now in this country? Look at this. People of color? Harold, how is this a genuine people of color when every group in this people of color group used to be considered white and wish they could again be considered white? So why would you unite with them? They're using our self-hate and our love of outsiders to trap us into a corner where we can't crawl out of.
That's dirty.
It's a trap, the multicultural trap. We got to go black to all black everything. I've been pushing it. Garvey said it 100 years ago. There's nothing new about it, but black people better wake up to it right now because it's on our front door now.
The pride that's associated with being black, like I feel like the brainwashing is ran too deep.
It is ran too deep. Yeah.
I think it's ran too deep, and everybody said like everybody can't make it. Like, you know what I mean?
You ain't taking everybody.
You ain't taking everybody.
And if you try to, you're gonna fail.
Yeah.
You can't take everybody. In fact, if you were to ask me to guesstimate, right, you have about 40 to 50 million Africans in America. Continental Africans included, because as a Pan-Africanist, we all one. Of that 50 million Africans in America, I'm going to say maybe 5 million. I'm going to give you 10%. 90% of us are completely useless, right? Of that 90%, 60% of them are too religious to objectively evaluate our political, social, economic condition and do something about it. The Christ out Christian, I'm not saying anything wrong with Christian. I'm talking about the person who's so Christian that they've lost all connection to reality. You're so Muslim, you've lost all connection to reality. You're so Hebrew, so Jehovah Witness, so Seventh-day Adventist, you've lost all connection to reality. So 60% are gone because most of those religions, excluding the Hebrews, most of those religions teach colorblindism, right? The Christian church indoctrinates all their followers. God don't see color. The masjid, I was raised Orthodox Muslim. I know God don't see color. You feel me? So 60% of us feel that embracing an African first consciousness is against God, which basically means redeeming black people is against God. You see that? If I can't fight for my people alone, then what you're saying is God isn't interested in African redemption, because the only way African redemption happens is if black people focus on themselves. So you got 60% religious. You got another 20%. They are straight up economic opportunists. Do you feel me? They don't give a shit about black power or white power. Yeah. They want green power. They will hustle any part of the struggle to get. They can't see beyond their bank account. And that's a big percentage of black men, by the way. A lot of black men are going to be useless for the freedom struggle because we are so addicted to money. We can't think beyond money, right? And then your last 10, 20%, they so in love with white folks, they would rather die on the Titanic with their slave master than jump on a canoe with their brothers and sisters. You understand? You got a percentage of us who are die-hard, black-skinned white people. And you got people who've been raised 3-4 generations of coons. See, we fail to realize that. And a lot of them go to your HBCUs and your PW, but the great-grandma was a house Negro. Great-great-grandpa was a house Negro. Father was a house, you understand? So they have been indoctrinated. This is how their family operates. We serve the interests of white people, and that's how we protect our own interests. You're only taking 10%.